This web episode brought to you by MillerPunchinWeight.com.
Let's catch some fish, let's have some fun!
Hi, my name is Chris Raza. I'm out here with True Bass Day. We're going to do a show this morning. Summertime, no wind, probably one of the first times I've came to Delta with no wind. You guys are all lucky. But it's summertime. We're going to throw topwater in the morning, try to go over buzz baits, maybe some wake baits, probably some frogs a little bit. We're going to fish middle Delta today. And then as the sun gets up, we're going to go to Punchin. I'm working with a new Punchin weight. We're going to try to see how that operates today, and maybe you guys will be interested. We're going to go middle Delta, probably around Mildred Island today. See if we can get some of the fish coming through the runouts. So we got a really low tide today. It's going to bottom out in about 2.5 hours, and then we're going to go out and do some punching. Let's go fishing. This morning we're starting off with a half-ounce Limit Lures buzzbait on a Dobbin 734 rod. Just trying to get some early top water action. Except we got a dead slack, low tide. I like to have a little bit of movement. The river bass here, they kind of really depend on moving water. And this is totally amazing how nice and calm it is. I tell you what, I've been fishing here for 25 years or better, and very rarely do you see a day like this. Move, and hopefully we can find some moving water. That's one thing about it, well, you can come back here in 2 hours and they'll be snapping like wild, but you get here at the wrong tide. That's what most of the people don't understand. They come out here and go fishing and they catch them one day, and I keep a little log of kind of what's going on, and you catch them at a super low tide, but the water's moving. You come back a week later to the same spot and it's total opposite tide, and the water's 5 feet tall. So tides cycle every week. Most people understand that about here. Found a little opening. Don't see much movement yet, but it'll come. It's one thing about the Delta, these fish really like water moving, because if not, you have to force feed them. Just a little guy, but it's a starter bass. This is a river sea frog called a bully wah, 65-pound Power Pro braided line. You got to pretty much have to throw a frog with it. And then a Dobbin 734 and a 736. Just depends on how heavy the cover. I like to throw a 736 in the super heavy cover, and then a little lighter, in the lighter cover. Like going down this bank here, you see these little open pockets. Well, weeds probably haven't grown there, so it might be 3 foot deep. So it's a good spot, but it's hard you need something that you can just barely move over the top of it versus a buzz bait or a spinner bait or anything else. So I try to just cover a little of these areas. I know they're deeper up against the bank. Just suck down the, what's funny? Oh. Well, this is about the average fish the Delta's been putting out, I'll tell you right now. You get 5 of these, or 4 of these and a 7, and you're right in the money. I'm looking for run out still, just trying to make sure I get a little bit of water movement. It seems like every run out I get a bite or maybe a fish, so I'm gonna stop and get, run outs are where we're in a big lake and then there's run throughs that go through, in and out. So when the tide goes out, when they're coming in. So, but I'm trying to just get the areas where the tide's moving, and obviously right now we don't have much movement. Well, this morning we have pumps that are down south, probably about 10 miles from here, and you know, the tide is supposed to probably be a foot higher right now, and it's hard to find the lanes that come through because the pumps are pulling water to LA. So I've got to make an adjustment with it, and now I've got short casts rather than long casts, and hopefully the fish are agreeing with it, because a lot of times they, you know, this is a totally different tide. It changes. I've got to adjust to it, and hopefully the fish are moving with it. I think everyone that comes to Delta needs GPS, and then start going, you know, a mile away from the launch ramp until you can get comfortable, because at this place you can get lost. There's over 1,000 miles of shoreline, and believe me, I can get a guy lost in 5 minutes just going around a tule berm twice. So look at landmarks, figure out what's up, and you know, probably the easiest way to catch fish around here is fishing riprap. You know, running crankbaits down it, you know, throwing Senkos behind the weed lines and learning it. And then, you know, slowly step out and, oh, that was a nice fish, man. That was a nice fish there. That was a good one. Get in the boat, but a little better fish. The fish that struck after this was a lot bigger. Now that's good punching stuff right there. That's what we're going to be into next. Hey, I got something pretty cool to show all you guys. You know, down at the Delta right now, punching has probably been the #1 thing. I mean, everywhere I go, I see guys punching on the Delta. And a friend of mine, Danny Miller, he's came up with a new punching weight. And it comes in 2 ounce, 1.5 ounce, ounce and 3/4. And it's designed, it's kind of like a pendulum. You know, it's super pointy, but it will drop into just about anything. You know, you flip it in, give it a little shake, and it acts like a plumb bob, and down she goes, weight and all. And I'm gonna try to show you guys how it works today. I mean, I think you guys will be excited. I'm pretty excited about it. I've been throwing it for about a month now, and I've had really good success with it. I've been probably punching for the last 6 or 7 years, and I've always thrown a Reaction to Innovation double wide beaver. It's probably one of your best punching, you know, baits around. You know, a brush hog is a lot of legs, a lot of stuff to get caught on, and the beaver is probably one of my favorites. So this is what I'm going to use today. It's June bug color, kind of bluegill color. I'm using a 805. It's a Dobbins rod. It's specifically made for punching. It's 8 foot, 5 power, and got a lot of horsepower. And it can definitely move them when you need to, you know, pull them out of this, because you need to. You know, in the last 5 years of vegetation here in the Deltas, we've got new stuff, pennywort. You know, we have a weed called a joint weed, looks like grapevine. So nowadays, everyone seems to go to the cover. As soon as the sun comes out, the bass seem to go directly underneath something, and the new thing now is punching. And now we're designing weights to get through, so we don't have to use, you know, 2 ounce, 3 ounce weights. I think I can get by with something a little bit lighter, you know, and